ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभ्यदिव्या छविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावधातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ। जयति जयति देवा कृष्णचैतन्यचन्द्र जयति जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्यपवित्रा जयति जयति भृत्यास्तस्य विश्वेशमूर्ते जयति जयति नृत्या तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम्। हरे कृष्ण। So once again, thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly joining our study of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Today is session 4, I believe, And so far we have been discussing from the Adi Khanda of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat the background of how the situation was in this world and specifically in Navadvip, the conditions under which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advented. So we'll continue our discussion. In the previous class, previous session, we discussed how there was unity among the devotees. And my dear friends, it is this unity among devotees that attracts Krishna. We see in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, when the 10 sons, the 10 brothers, the Prachetas, when they were performing austerities, they were the sons of Maharaj Prachini Barhi. And when these 10 brothers, the Prachetas, they were performing their bhajan, their devotional service together cooperatively for a long time, seeing their cooperation and seeing their loving relationships with each other, the Supreme Lord, Sri Vishnu, directly gave them darshan, gave them audience and blessed them, and told them that I'm extremely pleased with your cooperative spirit and your loving relations with each other. So, from the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand that cooperation among devotees is very important because it pleases Krishna. So, we may have some differences, we may have some reasons to disagree, but we should not um, criticize each other and we should not give up the spirit of cooperation. We may have difference of opinion with devotees, but all the devotees agree that we want to serve Srila Prabhupada. We want to serve Krishna. That we all agree. So based on that agreement, we should cooperate. So now let's go to Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Khanda, chapter 2, verse number 103. विष्णु भक्ति शून्य देखी सकल संसार अंतरे दहये बड़ा चित्त सबाकार. All the devotees, when they saw that this world had become Vishnu Bhakti Shunya, there was practically no devotion in this world. The hearts of all the devotees broke. We saw the cooperative spirit. In the previous session, we discussed the cooperative spirit between Sri Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur and his brothers, and Haridas Thakur. We saw how all of them, in their own way, they were praying together in a spirit of cooperation to request the Supreme Lord to descend in this world. Srivas Thakur was worshipping Ganga Devi and calling out the names of Krishna. Haridas Thakur was sitting in his cave on the banks of Ganga and calling out the names of Krishna in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Sri Advaita Acharya was offering Ganga Jal and Tulsi leaves to his Shaligram Shila and loudly calling out the names of Krishna, requesting him to descend in this world. Krishna hatha shuni beka hena nahi jan, apana apani sabe karena kirtan. Because the devotees could not find anyone interested in Krishna consciousness, they just came together and in the association of each other, just few handful of devotees, they would come together and they would chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. दुई चारी दंड था कि अद्वैत सभाए कृष्ण कथा प्रसंगे सकल दुख आए. They would mitigate their distress by coming together for a couple of hours every day in the house of Advaita Acharya. You see, all these devotees, they had their families, they had their duties to perform. Just like we have to go to office, or right now in the COVID-19 lockdown, we have to work from home. But we all have office work, we all have household duties. Matajis have to cook bhoga. Many of them also work. and the Prabhus also have to work and also help out in the kitchen and in the house. So we all have our duties. We have to take care of the children, take up their homework. So many duties we have. But still, despite all these duties and responsibilities, we must adjust our life in such a way that we have time for Krishna consciousness. We have time for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We have time for reading the holy scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Bhagavat. We have time for hearing Krishna Katha like we are doing now. And we have time to associate with and serve devotees. It may be physical association or it may be online, but we must have time for these five activities: chanting the holy names, doing puja, that is deity worship, reading the scriptures, hearing Bhagavatam class, and Vaishnav Seva. If we don't have time for these five activities, then we need to seriously take a look at our duties and responsibilities, our daily schedule, and make some modifications. We can work hard, no problem. 8 hours a day, we can work hard. But we must also have enough time for these five activities, which constitute our sadhana, our devotional life. We must make time. We must make priority for this. 6 hours maximum for sleeping, 8 hours for work, another 2 hours for eating and bathing. 2 times a day we have bath at least. 2 times a day we eat, and our taking care of our personal life like getting a haircut, shaving, cutting our nails. All these things take time. So for our own bodily maintenance, 30 minutes for exercise to take care of our physical health. So 2 hours for all this. So 6 hours for sleeping, 2 hours for maintaining our bodies in good shape. So that's 8 hours. 8 hours for work. That still leaves us 8 hours. Out of these, another 2 hours we can give family members to play with the children, to take up their homework, to spend time with one's spouse, ask how the day was, help out in the house. That still leaves us 6 solid hours for bhajan. So we must do the five activities during this time. And we can do it with our family members so that we can grow together spiritually. So the devotees, they had busy lives, but still around 2 hours every day, they would come together in the house of Advaita Acharya and they would discuss Krishna Katha. They would hear from Srimad Bhagavatam every day, 7 days a week. Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, they tried to preach. Even Haridas Thakur, they tried to preach to the people of Navadvip, to the people of Bengal, but nobody listened to them. They were ridiculed and they were made fun of. दुःख भावी अद्वैत करे न उपवास सकल वैष्णव गणे छाड़े दीर्घ श्वास. Seeing the polluted consciousness of the people in Kali Yuga, all the devotees, they simply sighed. They felt sad. And Advaita Karena Upavas, Advaita Acharya started fasting. Advaita Acharya, we discussed how he is combined incarnation of Sadashiv and Mahavishnu. He doesn't have to perform austerities, but seeing the fallen condition of the people in general, out of his compassion, Advaita Acharya began to fast. For all of us, for Mukta Sangha Prabhu, for Ramsham Prabhu, for Shiv Kumar Prabhu, Vatsala Mataji, Jayanti Bhai, Devahuti Mataji, for me, for each and every one of us, and all the devotees. I can only see so many names in the panel on the top, but all the devotees. Please understand, Advaita Acharya's prayers were very personal. Our Acharyas explain that he was praying for each and every one of us. Because being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu, we have come from his body. When he exhales, innumerable Brahmandas, egg, anda means egg, Brahmanda, egg-like universes are created with Lord Brahma as the in charge for each of those universes. So as Mahavishnu, Advaita Acharya knows past, present and future. He knows our desires. He knows our aspirations. He knows how sinful we are, how pious we are, how materialistic we are, how spiritual we are. He knows all our desires. He knows past, present and future. So Advaita Acharya knew that we will all be there in Kali Yuga and we will all be degraded. Therefore, Advaita Acharya was praying personally for each and every one of us. So please know that Advaita Acharya's prayers were very personal. He cares for each and every one of us. And he started to fast. Just see. Kena va Krishnera nritya, kene va kirtana, kare va Vaishnava bali, ki va sankirtana. When they were chanting the names of Krishna, when they were discussing Hari Katha, when they were fasting, the people would ridicule them and they would say, what is this Sankirtan? What is this Krishna Bhakti? They could not understand anything. Kichu nahi jane loka dhana putra ashe, sakala pashandi meli Vaishnavere hase. Vaishnavere hase. Kichu nahi jane. Without knowing anything, without understanding the mood of these Vaishnavas, seeing their devotional activities, seeing their austerities, Vaishnavere hase. They would laugh at the Vaishnavas. They would ridicule the Vaishnavas, all the people. But this did not discourage or deter the devotees from praying. There is a very beautiful story in this regard. Please listen carefully, my dear friends. Once upon a time, there was a sadhu. He went to the Ganga to take bath. And the place where he was, in the Himalayas, the Ganga flows, and it is very rocky. So as he was taking his dips in the Ganga in the cold water, he noticed a crab. Now crabs, they can survive in water, but they also need land. They also need to come out to breathe. And this crab was slightly injured. And therefore, he was drowning. He was sinking in the Ganga. And he could not come out to breathe. He could not come out of the water on the shore or climb some rock like they normally do. So this crab was drowning. So this sadhu, this Vaishnava, with his hand, he picked up the crab and put the crab on a rock right next to Ganga. But as he picked up the crab bit the sadhu. Oh, the sadhu did like this because he was feeling a lot of pain. And the crab also, he fell down from the rock and again went in the Ganga and was about to be swept away by the flow of Ganga. But again, the sadhu reached and picked up the crab to rescue the crab and put the crab on the riverside. And again, the crab bit the sadhu. And again, the crab fell in the water and was being swept away. Again, third time, now the hand was bleeding. It was hurting, the sadhu's hand. But again, third time, the sadhu reached up and pulled out the crab and put him by the side of the river to save the crab. But again, the crab bit the sadhu. But this time, the sadhu was able to put the crab a few inches away from the Ganga. So the crab was safe, but the sadhu was badly hurt. Now, some other sadhus, they were also taking their bath. And they saw this Vaishnava sadhu, what he had done for the crab and how he had gotten bitten 3 times by the crab. So they laughed at him because some of the sadhus were Mayavadis. All the sadhus who live on the bank of Ganga in the Himalayas are not Vaishnavas. Many of them are Mayavadis. There are different types of sadhus. So these Mayavadi sadhus, they laughed at this Vaishnav sadhu. And they said, what are you doing? You take care of your own self. Why are you bothering about that crab? The crab is a animal that bites. So why do you worry about the crab? Just leave the crab alone. So this Vaishnav sadhu replied something, said something which is very, very instructive for all of us to remember. This Vaishnav sadhu, he replied at the people who were laughing at him. He said, it is the nature of the crab to bite. It is the nature of the crab to bite, but it is the nature of a Vaishnav to show compassion. Hare Krishna. The sadhu said, the crab is helpless by its nature to bite. The crab will not give up its nature to bite. The sadhu said, so why should I give up my nature to show compassion? Why should I give up my nature to show compassion? So people were ridiculing the devotees, but the devotees did not give up their mood of compassion. It did not stop at that, my dear friends. Shuniya Pashandi bole haila paramad, ei Brahman karibeka gramera utsad. They would talk about Srivas Thakur because Srivas Thakur, along with Ramai Pandit, his brother, Srivas Thakur is an incarnation of Narad Muni and Ramai Pandit is an incarnation of Parvat Muni. They would go to the banks of Ganga and loudly they would 3 times a day take Ganga bath and loudly call out to Krishna to appear in this world. They would pray to Mother Ganga that please request your Lord to come down. You have come down. Now request your Lord to also come down here in Navadvip. So they would be praying and people would get very angry with Srivas Thakur because he's loudly chanting the names of Krishna in Navadvip. You see, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur were living in Shantipur. But Srivas Thakur and his brothers were living in Navadvip. So this is in Navadvip. The people were criticizing Srivas Thakur for loudly chanting the name of Krishna. Mahatrivra Narapati Yavana Ihar E Akhyana Shunile Pramadana Diyar. They said, if this Mahativra Narapati, Narapati means king, Mahativra means very vicious. If this very cruel king hears the loud chanting of Srivas Thakur and his brothers, Pramad, he will get very angry with our village. Keha bole e brahmane ei gram haite ghar bhangi guchiyaya phelai mushrote. So they were saying the king will get very angry with our village of Nadia and the king will come and loot and plunder this entire village of Navadvip. So therefore, let us break the house of Srivas Thakur into pieces and let's throw it into the Ganga. Let's get rid of Srivas Thakur. Let's kick him out of this village and let's break his house. Otherwise, we are going to be punished by the Muslim king. Eva mune guchilae grame ramangala anyatha yavane grame karibe karana. To protect our village from this Yavan king, let us get rid of Srivas Thakur. You see, the residents of Navadvip were so fortunate to have Narad Muni in the form of Srivas Thakur live among them. But they could not recognize their good fortune. In fact, they wanted to destroy their good fortune by attacking Srivas Thakur. Such is the mentality of people who are bereft of spiritual guidance. That's why we need spiritual mentors in our life. And that's why we need spiritual master. Because with our own intelligence, my dear friends, we may not be able to recognize great devotees. This is a very important principle that we need to understand. We should not think, I have got it figured out. I have done the ISKCON disciple course. I have done Bhakti Shastri. I have got it figured out. I am a mature devotee, I can understand. This is Narak Buddhi. This is very dangerous mentality. We should never ever think like this. No sincere devotee thinks like this, independent. Because it is the nature of devotees not to show their devotion publicly. And therefore, we cannot recognize devotees with our own intelligence. I would like to tell all of you another very beautiful story from the Mahabharata. You all know that Lord Krishna went to Hastinapur to spend time with the Pandavas and Srimati Draupadi Devi when they were given the kingdom of Khandaprastha. It was a barren land, but by the mercy of Krishna, it became the flourishing kingdom of Indraprastha. It became a beautiful city, more beautiful than Hastinapur. And Yudhishthir Maharaj performed a Rajasuya Yajna with the help of Lord Krishna. And everyone was invited. One of the requirements of the Rajasuya Yajna, my dear friends, is all the great Vaishnavas, all the pure devotees on the planet and beyond have to be invited and served. Even Narad Muni had to come, even though Narad Muni doesn't belong to this earth planet. He was invited and he came. Narad Muni came, Vyasdev came, all these great devotees have to be invited, they have to be fed Krishna Prasad, and they have to be served for the yajna, Rajasuya yajna, for the sacrifice to be successful. This is a requirement. Not many of us know this story, but my dear friends, after the Rajasuya yajna was completed, if everything is done correctly, and if the performer of the Rajasuya yajna is to receive the full benefit, actually, Maharaj Yudhishthir was doing Rajasuya Yajna for only two reasons. One is he wanted to offer the Agra Puja to Lord Krishna, the first worship to Lord Krishna, to show the whole world that Lord Krishna is Purushottam. He is the best amongst all the people. And second, he wanted to invoke blessings by performing this Rajasuya Yajna, blessings from all the devatas, so that there will be prosperity in the whole world, so that there will be prosperity on the whole planet. That was the intention and that was the desire of Maharaj Yudhishthir when he performed the Rajasuya Yajna. So, how do we come to know that the Rajasuya Yajna has been successful? At the place where the Yajna Shala is, where the Rajasuya Yajna is performed, there is a Shankha, a conch shell. And if the Rajasuya Yajna is successful, then this conch shell on its own, without anyone blowing air into it, on its own, the conch shell will blow loudly. That is the indication that the Rajasuya Yajna has been successful. So after everything was completed, the whole Rajasuya Yajna was completed, all the Vaishnavas were invited, their feet were personally washed by Krishna. Draupadi Devi had personally cooked in the kitchen, and Bhimasen had personally served and distributed the prasadam. Yudhishthir Maharaj had personally welcomed everyone. After all this was completed, the whole Rajasuya Yajna was completed, the Shankha, the conch shell, did not blow. Lord Krishna was present, Narad Muni was present, Vyasadeva was present, Vishwamitra Muni was present, Angira Muni was present, Vasishtha Muni was present. Vasishtha Muni was the guru of Draupadi Devi. They were all present. Gargacharya was present. Garga Muni was present. But the conch shell did not blow. Now, this was a cause of great concern for Yudhishthir Maharaj and everyone. And Yudhishthir Maharaj asked the Purohits, the Pujaris, the Brahmins, what went wrong? After conquering the whole world, after inviting everyone, after spending so much wealth on performing this sacrifice, if the sacrifice is unsuccessful, what is the use? Shrama eva hi kevalam. It will only be useless effort. So please tell me, my dear Brahmanas, what went wrong in this Rajasuya Yajna? The time is still auspicious. We can still make some rectifications, make some corrections, take some correcting measures to make the sacrifice successful and make the conch shell blow. Please tell me what is the mistake. And all the Brahmanas, they went through the whole process. And in their mind, they could not figure out what was the mistake, what was the deficiency. So they told Yudhishthira Maharaj, we do not know what the deficiency is. After no one could figure out, Yudhishthira Maharaj turned to Lord Krishna and he said, hey Janardhan, please make this sacrifice successful. Please tell us what is the deficiency, what is the mistake, why the conch shell is not blowing. Lord Krishna smiled and he asked Arjun and Bhim whose responsibility it was to invite all the pure devotees. He asked Arjun and Bhimsen, my dear Bhimsen and Arjun, did you invite all the Vaishnavas, all the pure devotees on the planet? Arjun and Bhim looked at each other, they thought, and they said, yes, Madhusudan, all the pure devotees on the planet, we have invited. We went to every kingdom and we have invited every pure devotee of yours. Then Lord Krishna smiled. He said, yes, you have invited all the pure devotees except one. Except one. You did not invite one pure devotee of mine. In fact, he is one of my greatest devotees on this planet right now. Arjun and Bhim were very, very curious to know who this devotee is, where this devotee lives. Please tell us, Vasudev. Please tell us where this pure devotee lives. Even if he lives in some remote cave in the Himalayan mountains, we will go right now and invite him respectfully and bring him and serve him. Because this will please you and this will make the sacrifice successful. So please tell us who this devotee is and where he lives. Lord Krishna smiled and said, this devotee lives right here in your city of Indraprasth. What? What are you saying, Vasudev? He lives right here in the city of Indraprasth and we don't know? What is his name? Where does this Brahman live? Please tell us. Lord Krishna told Arjun and Bhim, he is not a Brahman. He is not a Brahman. He is not a Kshatriya. He is not a Vaishya. And he is not a Shudra. What? He is not part of the Varnashram? And he is your pure devotee. How is that possible? Yudhishthira Maharaj asks Krishna. And Krishna says, this person belongs to the family which is most degraded. He is not even a mlecha. Mlecha are meat eaters. They may kill some deer and eat the flesh. Or a Kshatriya may kill an animal and these mlechas will eat the flesh. Mlechas and Yavanas. And the tribals are called Pulindas. But lower than all of them, lower than the Shudras, lower than the Mlechas, lower than the Yavanas, lower than the Pulindas is the community called Shwapacha. The Shwapachakas. They eat the flesh of dogs. Hare Krishna. You see, even among hunters, those who hunt, there is something called as game animals. Game animals. There are certain animals that can be killed for game. Game means to eat. You can kill deer. Not you, the hunters. We don't do this. We are vegetarians. But the hunters, they can get license to kill the deer. And the flesh of the deer is called venison. And that is considered to be one of the forms of meat that they regularly eat, the meat eaters. But certain animals are not to be eaten, and dogs are one of them. But the Shwapachas, the lowest among men, are the dog eaters. So Lord Krishna said, this pure devotee of mine, this Shuddha Bhakta, belongs to the family of the Shwapachas, the dog eaters. In fact, his name is Shwapacha Valmiki. This is not the Valmiki, the Rishi Valmiki, who wrote Valmiki Ramayana, not that Valmiki, that is Treta Yuga. But this is the end of Dwapar Yuga. And he is Shwapacha Valmiki. This story is mentioned in Mahabharata. And it is also mentioned in Srinab Goswami's Bhaktamal, very beautiful book. So Shwapacha Valmiki lived in Indraprasth on the outskirts. He belonged to the family of dog eaters, but he was a pure devotee of Krishna. And what was his bhajan? His bhajan was whatever work he is doing, whether he is sweeping the streets of Indraprasth or whatever work he is doing, he would constantly chant the name of Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Continuously with every breath, he would chant Krishna Nam. That was his only bhajan. He didn't know anything else. He only knew, I am not qualified to do puja, I am not qualified to do meditation, I am not qualified to participate in the sacrifices, yajna. All I can do is chant. And that also he would not chant loudly because people would get angry with him. So he would chant softly within his mouth, Upamshu. Just within his mouth, with his lips and his tongue, without using his throat, just lips and tongue, he would chant Krishna Nam all day and all night. And he was completely devoted to Krishna. So Lord Krishna said, go and get Shwapacha Valmiki. Only when he is served, only when he has been fed, will this sacrifice be successful. Arjun and Bhim said, we will go right now and we will bring him. So they go and they start asking everyone, where is Shwapacha Valmiki? Where is Shwapacha Valmiki? Where is Shwapacha Valmiki? People point out, oh, that low class man, there, that way. So they practically go outside the city of Indraprastha, and just on the outskirts, on the very outskirts of Indraprastha city, in a thatched hut, was living Shwapacha Valmiki, chanting Krishna Nam, sitting in solitude, being absorbed in Krishna. He had taken shelter of Indraprastha because he knew that the king of Indraprastha, Maharaj Yudhishthira, was a great devotee of Krishna. And from people, he would hear the different activities of Krishna. And while chanting Krishna Nam, he would meditate on the different pastimes of Krishna. All these people of Indraprastha, they would talk among themselves. Oh, the best friend of our king, the best friend of King Yudhishthira is Krishna. He is Dwarkadish. But before that, he used to live in Vrindavan. 11 years he lived in Vrindavan. And do you know? He killed Putana. He used to dance with the gopis. He used to graze the cows in the forest. Oh, he was very, very expert at playing the flute. All these pastimes. How he killed Kamsa, how he liberated his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, from the prison. All these pastimes would be discussed. How he took Arjun and Bhimsen with him to kill Jarasandha before the Rajasuya Yajna. All these pastimes they would discuss. And Shwapacha Valmiki would hear and he would constantly meditate. Leela Smaranam. Nam Smaranam and Leela Smaranam. He would do constantly. Pure devotee, very soft hearted, very humble. Kirtaniya Sadahari. So Arjun and Bhim went to him and he was sitting and chanting. As soon as he saw Arjun and Bhim, the brothers of the king, he immediately got up and he was very shy by nature. He started trembling with fear. Did I do something wrong? My lords, why have you taken the trouble of coming to my humble residence? Did I make any mistake? Please forgive me. Please forgive me. He started falling at the lotus feet of Arjun and Bhim. Arjun and Bhim stepped back and said, no. It's not like that. You have not made any mistake. In fact, our elder brother Yudhishthira Maharaj has just performed a Rajasuya Yajna. And on behalf of Yudhishthira Maharaj, we have personally come to invite you, humbly invite you. Please kindly come and accept our hospitality. Accept some prasad from us. Please, we want to serve you. We want to please you. What? No, 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 no. I cannot do that. I'm not even qualified to come and sweep the steps outside the palace of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Even if my shadow falls on the steps of your palace, you'll have to clean the steps with cow dung and cow urine. I am so polluted. I am so fallen. I am so low class. No, no, no. I cannot come. I cannot come. I cannot come. I am very fallen. He said, no. Yudhishthir Maharaj wants to serve you. You are not fallen. In fact, we have heard from the lotus mouth of Krishna that you are the greatest devotee of Krishna in this kingdom. Therefore, please come. If you don't come, the entire sacrifice will go useless. Please come. Please come. We really want to serve you, acknowledge you, appreciate you, and please you. Please come. He said, if by my coming, the yajna, Rajasuya yajna is going to be successful, then yes, then I will come. So Bhima and Arjun say, tomorrow morning, you please come to our palace and we will personally come tomorrow morning to take you to the palace, to escort you to the palace on the royal chariot. And there, Srimati Draupadi Devi will personally cook with her own hands for you a feast. She will offer it to Krishna and we will serve you Krishna Prasad. Please come and accept this prasad from us. Shropacha Valmiki said, as you say, I'm the servant of your servants. I will do anything to please you. I will come. Arjun and Bhim came back and they gave the good news to Maharaj Yudhishthira and to Krishna that the pure devotee has been found and he has agreed to come tomorrow. And they tell Krishna that Krishna, looking at Shropacha Valmiki, from no angle does he look like a Vaishnava. He doesn't have Vaishnava tilak. He doesn't have tulsi around his neck. He doesn't have a Brahmin thread draping his left shoulder. He doesn't have any deities in his house. He looks like the most uncultured outcast. He doesn't look like a Vaishnava at all. But we completely believe you. When you say he is your best devotee, we completely believe you. We have full faith in you. And he will be brought to the palace tomorrow morning. Krishna was very happy. Krishna told Draupadi Devi, my dear Draupadi, Draupadi was like a Sakhi of Krishna, like a friend of Krishna, and also like his sister. Therefore, Krishna gave Subhadra Devi to Arjun, and he also gave Draupadi Devi to Arjun, because she was also like his sister. So he told Draupadi, you are known all over the world for your exquisite cooking. You are the best cook. In fact, when Krishna's queens, they met, it is mentioned in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a full chapter. Draupadi Devi instructs the Mahishinis, the queens of Dwarka. All the 16,108 wives of Krishna, when they met Draupadi Devi, they inquired from her. They took shiksha from her. How to please one's husband, how to serve one's husband. She was so expert. So Krishna told Draupadi Devi, you are very, very expert in cooking. You are the best cook. The perfection of your cooking will be tomorrow when you cook for this great devotee. So please make sure you yourself cook, because you will get unlimited spiritual benefit just by cooking for Shropacha Valmiki. And Draupadi Devi said, yes, I will cook with my own hands. I am all excited to cook for him tomorrow. I will make my favorite, my best dishes, the dishes that are most appreciated by you when I cook. I will make all those dishes for this Valmiki tomorrow. So next day morning, very, very early, Draupadi Devi woke up. She took a bath and she entered the kitchen. And so many maid servants were there to assist Draupadi Devi. They brought the best vegetables grown in the royal garden of Indraprasth. They brought the best quality ghee. the best quality milk, the best quality grains. And Draupadi Devi got cooking. She started cooking and she spent many, many hours in the kitchen cooking 56 items. Chappan Bhog. There were many varieties of sweets, many varieties of vegetables with gravy, many varieties of dry vegetables, different types of parathas and puris and rotis, different flavors and types of rice, and different varieties of sweets, fried items. Everything was there. 56 different items. Each and every item was cooked by Draupadi Devi, who is an incarnation of the goddess of fortune, with pure love and devotion. You see, why don't we eat outside? Why don't we eat in the restaurants? Why don't we eat in the workplace? We may be offered, like for us in the hospitals, we are served lunch every day in the hospitals. But I never eat. I have never eaten that lunch that is served in the hospital. There are vegetarian options, but I never eat. Not once. Why? Because through fire, consciousness travels. When we cook something, through that heat, that fire, consciousness travels. For example, when we are doing yajna, we offer different mantras, different ingredients like ghee, grains, fruits in the fire. And through that fire, it is offered to Krishna. In fact, it is said that the flames of the yajna, the fire, is the tongue of Vishnu. Through the medium of the fire, all our offerings reach Vaikuntanath, Krishna. Similarly, through the medium of fire, the consciousness of the cook, the bhav, the mood of the cook is very much present in the food. And through the medium of the fire, when we eat that, that consciousness is transmitted to us. Even the karma is transmitted to us. Moreover, the cooks who have cooked in the restaurants or who have cooked in the workplace or whatever, they have not cooked out of love for us. For example, if we invite Ajinkya Prabhu to our home for prasadam, then we will cook. We will first of all we ask, Ajinkya Prabhu, what do you like to eat? So Ajinkya Prabhu will say, I like Purnachi Podi. So then Radhava will make Puran and she will make nice Purnachi Podi, put nice ghee on it, offer it to Giriraj and Shaligram Shilas and Nitai Shachinandan under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. And then when Prabhuji comes, he will be served hot Purnachi Podi with ghee and milk. So what happens is, when we cook with love, as a well-wisher, as a servant for someone, we want to serve Ajinkya Prabhu, we want to serve him, we want to please him. When someone cooks out of love, and it is offered with love to Krishna, and the person, the recipient of that prasad, accepts that prasad, it is supremely beneficial for that devotee. It is supremely beneficial. Why? Because a devotee has cooked with love, a devotee has offered to Krishna with love and faith, and then that Mahaprasad has been served to the Vaishnava. Therefore, we should only accept prasadam in the homes of devotees who are our well-wishers and who are sincere devotees. If we get an opportunity, if a devotee invites us, we should not take service from devotees, but I can tell you, it is the greatest fortune to receive prasadam cooked by a loving devotee, a Krishna Premi Bhakta. And here is Draupadi Devi on the order of Krishna cooking exclusively for this one guest, Shwapacha Valmiki. She cooked Chappan Bhog and on a golden plate, she offered it to Krishna. And Krishna accepted that prasad. He said, first class, first class. And when this Valmiki was brought in the royal chariot by Bhim and Arjun, he said, my dear Bhim and my dear Arjun, I will accept the prasadam, but outside the palace. I cannot enter your palace. I'm not qualified. So he was not willing to enter the palace. Arjun had to hold one hand, and Bhim had to hold one hand, and very respectfully, they had to usher Valmiki inside the palace. And he was trembling with fear. Oh, no, 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 I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified. I'm not even qualified to step inside your palace. I'm not qualified to look inside your palace. Nobody should look at me. I'm very, very contaminated. I'm pathetic. I'm horrible. I'm fallen. He was feeling so embarrassed. He was trembling. And he was brought inside the palace. And he was given a very respectable place to sit comfortably. And then on a golden plate, 56 items, Chappan Bhog, which was Krishna's Mahaprasad, was served fresh and hot to Shwapacha Valmiki. And Draupadi Devi was personally serving him with her own lotus hands. Krishna and the Pancha Pandavas were in attendance, and the royal servants were fanning him. Because when you eat hot prasad, sometimes you start sweating. They were fanning him. Don't sweat. You sit comfortably in this nice, comfortable, cool place and enjoy. Accept Krishna Prasad. Honor it to your heart's content. And he was given invitation one day before so that he will come hungry. You see how everything was perfect. And what did Valmiki do? He looked at his plate and very hurriedly, he wanted to eat very quickly because he wanted to stay in that temple, like a temple for him. Because Krishna was present and pure devotees were present. He wanted to stay in that palace for as little time as possible. And he wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. Because he was thinking every moment I'm in this palace, I'm contaminating this palace. So very hurriedly, as soon as he was told, please eat, very hurriedly, he took each of the 56 items and he mixed it up into one big khichdi, one big mixture. He just mixed it up with both his hands. Cultured people don't touch left hand to prasad because his left hand is used for cleaning after we answer nature's call. So in Shaligram Seva, we don't use the left hand. While honoring Krishna Prasad, we don't use the left hand. With both his hands, in his haste, because he wanted to leave that place as soon as possible, he took all the 56 items and he mixed them up and quickly he walloped the whole feast. He ate everything up and he was told, take some more. No, I can't take any more. I'm done. He quickly got up, washed his plate. And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, no, in our palace, when you are served on a golden plate, you have to take it. That golden plate you can take. He said, no, I'm not qualified. Can I go? And he immediately left. Arjun and Bhim said, sit for some time. We'll give you some tambul, some pan, mouth freshener. No, I'm done. You wanted me to eat. I came, I ate everything. I finished everything. Oh, please let me go. No, I'll walk home. Please don't take the trouble of dropping me in a chariot. And he ran away. They had garlands ready for him to garland him after he has eaten nice, fragrant garland, because that fragrance of those beautiful flowers helps in digestion. The mouth fresheners help in digestion. They were going to put nice cooling chandan on his forehead because that also helps in digestion. Because the peripheries become cool and all the blood can be diverted to the digestive tract. Everything is very scientific in our Vedic culture. They had everything ready, but he just ran away. Said, I'm done. Thank you. Offered his obeisances and ran away. After serving him, Yudhishthira Maharaj looked at Krishna and he said, my dear Krishna, we served him. He was pleased. He was satisfied. But why the conch shell did not blow? I still don't hear the conch shell blowing. What happened? Then Krishna smiled. He said, you have served Shwapacha Valmiki very nicely. And now your sacrifice is successful. And the conch shell should have sounded. but it did not sound because someone has made a grave mistake. Hare Krishna. Someone has done dosha drishti. Someone has found fault with Shwapacha Valmiki. Yudhishthira Maharaj said, I did not find any fault with him. He was such a great devotee. I was noticing even as he was eating, constantly he was vibrating Krishna Nam. He was so humble. Who can be a greater devotee than Shwapacha Valmiki? I did not find faults. Arjuna and Bhim said, we also did not find fault. Nakul and Sahadev said, we also did not find fault. The servant said, we also did not find faults. And Draupadi Devi was looking down. Hare Krishna. Draupadi Devi folded her hands in front of Krishna and with tears in her eyes, she said, I am sorry, Vasudev. O Keshav, O Govinda, I am sorry. I am the one who found fault in my heart with the great devotee Valmiki. I had spent hours, I had labored hard in the kitchen and cooked 56 items. And I wanted Valmiki to enjoy each and every preparation because each and every preparation had a very particular taste. And a connoisseur will taste each item and appreciate. And then I wanted him to say that, Mother Draupadi, this preparation is very good. Can I have one more piece? And then I would have served him. So I wanted him to relish each and every item with its own individual taste. Just like you tasted in the morning, just like you enjoyed, my dear Krishna. I wanted Valmiki also to enjoy in a similar way. But because he took all my 56 preparations and mixed them up, the spicy item, the salty item, the sweet items, everything he mixed it up into one homogeneous Gopal Kala, into one homogeneous khichdi, and he just ate it up without relishing it. In my mind, a thought came that this is not surprising. After all, he is an uncultured person. What does he know about the taste of the items cooked in the royal kitchen? Only a connoisseur will appreciate. What does he know? He's, after all, a low class person. She said, that thought came, but I immediately shunned that thought and told myself that he's mixing everything up because he's such a great Vaishnav, such a great Vaishnav that he doesn't want to get attached to the taste of anything. Because then what will happen? He will say, oh, this Rasgulla is very good. This Laddu is okay. But everything is Krishna Prasad. Every item is Krishna Prasad. Every item is non-different from Krishna. So how can you judge Krishna? That this is good, this is not so good. So in my mind, I immediately reconciled that is why this Valmiki is mixing everything, because he doesn't want to do dosha drishti towards the prasad. Because prasad is not different from Krishna. How can we say, oh, this is good, this paneer sabji is good, but this Karela sabji is not good? No, we are finding fault with Krishna. It is like saying that this deity of Krishna, Madan Mohan, is very beautiful, but Govinda Dev is not so beautiful. That is horrible mentality. So this Valmiki was such a great devotee of Lord Vasudeva that he did not want to do dosha drishti. Number one, he did not want to get attached to the taste of tasty food. Therefore, he just mixed up everything so that it will not be good. It will not taste good. And he will just eat it because he wanted to control his tongue, control his senses. Even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would always mix all the items and eat it in this way. Just like Shwapacha Valmiki. So Draupadi Devi said, yes, in my mind later on, after he left, I corrected my mentality. But when he was eating everything mixed up, I thought that after all, he's an uncultured person. So I committed that Vaishnava Aparadha. I made that mistake. So I'm sorry. So Krishna said, you have to fall at the feet of Shwapacha Valmiki and beg forgiveness from him. So immediately with Bhim and Arjun, Draupadi Devi went to the house of Shwapacha Valmiki and offered obeisances at his lotus feet, took his blessings and begged forgiveness from him. And as soon as Draupadi Devi offered her obeisances to Shwapacha Valmiki, loudly the conch shell sounded. It resounded in the city. Like that, the conch shell, proclaiming that the yajna was very successful. So, my dear friends, the reason we discuss this story from the Mahabharata is to teach us a principle that many times we are not able to recognize who a devotee is and what is the value of a devotee. Can you imagine the whole yajna would have been useless without serving this one Vaishnava? Such importance Krishna gives to his devotees. And many times we are not able to recognize a devotee, the true value of a devotee. So many people saw Srila Prabhupada in India before he went to the West. Srila Prabhupada preached to so many people. Srila Prabhupada would go to tea stalls in Delhi, Chandni Chowk. And he would try to sell his Back to Godhead magazines. And people would say, ah, nahi chahiye. Can you imagine you are sipping a cup of tea at a tea stall, and Srila Prabhupada is coming to you with his magazines and asking, can you give 1 rupee and take this magazine? And you said, nahi chahiye. This happened every day to Srila Prabhupada. The reason is we are not able to recognize devotees because devotees don't walk around with a halo around their head. The same prayer is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Rahugana prays to Jada Bharat. I offer my obeisances to you and I offer my obeisances to all the Avdutas who are walking around on this planet disguised, and therefore we cannot recognize them as great Mahabhagavats, great devotees. And therefore we, the royal clan of people, are very expert in insulting and ill-treating such great devotees as yourself. So I beg forgiveness. We may not recognize a devotee, my dear friends. We may not recognize a true devotee. So we have to be very careful. The residents of Navadvip also could not recognize that Narad Muni was living among them as Srivas Thakur. They wanted to kill Srivas and they wanted to throw his house in the Ganga, break it down and throw it away. Therefore, my dear friends, we have to pray to Krishna that we get spiritual intelligence with which we are able to serve and please Shri Hari, Shri Guru, and the Vaishnavas. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. Therefore, Narottama Thakur prays. What is that? Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Shri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. What is that? Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. He's offering his obeisances to Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. It is not Bhagavad Gita, it is Bhagavata Gita. To Srimad Bhagavatam and to Shri Gita. And Hari Guru Vaishnavas. So we have to Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyaite kathidai artha prakashante mahatmana. We have to have equal respect for the Vaishnava Guru and for Sri Hari. Only then the true purport of the scriptures will be revealed to us. So this is the message we wanted to convey today. How we can totally not be able to recognize a true Vaishnava. Even Yudhishthir Maharaj, who is Dharmaraj, was not able to recognize. Bhim and Arjun were not able to recognize. But because they were sincere, Krishna revealed to them. And sometimes even after being revealed, we may, in the course of our service, find faults or see faults in a Vaishnava like Srimati Draupadi Devi did. But immediately we should take corrective measures and beg forgiveness and carry on with our service with humility. That is the message. We'll continue our description of Chaitanya Bhagavat next time. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So now I'm going to allow you to unmute. If there are any questions, we can take 1 or 2 questions or comments. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Ajinkya Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for wonderful class and for that story. So I had this question, like you were mentioning about the like how we should not eat at like at some place where like not, it's not, let's say, non-devotees place or any place. But sometimes what happens is, let's say, or even I have heard this, that we should not eat at such a place where like non-veg or even or meat is being cooked. So sometimes what happens that, let's say, we have some close relatives who at their home they cook meat or non-veg. They cook, and sometimes they invite us at their home for meal or for having lunch or dinner. So and they may even agree to cook without onion garlic, because we are going to their home, so they may agree that we will cook without onion garlic. So in this situation, like, let's say, but if let's say the relative is not like a close relative, it's a distant relative, then we might tell them that, oh, we because you like we don't eat at such a place where meat is being cooked, so we will come to your home, but we will not eat anything. That way we can tell them. But let's say the relative is very very close to you, and you have like and you know them from many years, or like they are your relatives. So but in this situation, what should we do, like when they invite us for dinner or lunch? But should we like what reply should we give them, or should we eat at their place, or what, how to deal with this situation?
Hare Krishna. So if the relatives are our well-wishers
Mhm.
and we have a good relationship with them, they will agree to our request that
Mhm.
the food should be offered to Krishna.
Okay.
Do you think they will agree, your relatives?
I mean, if they have like Krishna, I don't know if whether they will have Krishna at their home or not. They might have some demigods like some Ganpati or
Right.
some.
So
But
what we can do
Mhm.
is we can request them that we will come to your house and we will accept prasadam only if they are well wishers. If they are well
Okay.
wishers, and um, then we can ask them that you cook and clean the vessels nicely and
Mhm.
cook without onion garlic,
Mhm.
vegetarian, and you can go to their home with a photograph of our
Okay.
parampara,
Mhm.
Panchatattva Gaurnita, and you can even request them to chant Hare Krishna as they cook, not to taste it, of course.
Mhm.
And you can go and you can offer.
Okay, okay.
You
So
can
we
offer,
okay,
provided they cook without onion garlic and they are favorable to Krishna consciousness.
okay.
So we use the word Naividya.
Naivedya.
Tell them that आम्ही नैवेद्य दाखवतो. So
Mm-hmm.
most of them will agree
Right.
because most of them are pious people, most of the
Mm-hmm.
relatives. So they will agree. So you can offer, but we should not eat anything that has not been offered to Krishna.
Okay,
And
okay.
regarding this, also there is a story in Mahabharata. We
Mm-hmm.
know that Dronacharya,
Mm-hmm.
he went to the school with his friend Drupad Maharaj. They were in the
Mm-hmm.
same Gurukul and they were
Mm-hmm.
very good friends. And in their friendship, they were discussing their future plans. So Drupad Maharaj said, "Oh, I will go. I will inherit my father's kingdom. I'll become a big king." And Dronacharya said, "I don't know what I will do. I don't have any,
Mm-hmm.
wealth or any inheritance." So Drupad Maharaj said, "Don't worry, my dear friend. When we graduate, I will give half my kingdom to you." But
Mm-hmm.
then afterwards, when Dronacharya
Yes,
saw
sir.
how his son Ashwatthama was not able to drink milk and he had to eat powdered wheat powder
Mm-hmm.
mixed in water as milk substitute, he felt very bad. So he remembered the words of his friend and he went to Drupad Maharaj to request for some charity. Not half the kingdom, but at least some charity. And he even refused to recognize him. He said, I don't recognize you, low class person, go away. So Dronacharya got very angry. Then he found the Pandavas, he trained them, and Guru Dakshina, he said, go and capture Drupad. I want his whole kingdom. So first Duryodhan went with Karna, and Drupad Maharaj's army defeated Karna and Dronacharya. And they were in very big trouble. That's when Yudhishthira Maharaj said to Arjun, Arjun, now you go. So Arjun single-handedly went and he saved Duryodhan and Karna, and he defeated Drupad Maharaj, tied him up, arrested him. And he was so heroic, so handsome that when Arjun was tying up Drupad Maharaj thought that he should marry my daughter in the future. That time he did not have a daughter. He said, in the future, if I have a daughter, I will give it to Arjun. What a hero he is. So Arjun captured him and threw him at the feet of his guru, Dronacharya. And Dronacharya said, go. Drupad, you are my slave, but now you are released. Drupad was so insulted, so humiliated, that he said, I will call a qualified Brahman and I will do a yajna which will produce a son who will kill Dronacharya. So he was searching for a Brahman who will do that yajna. A yajna that will produce a child who will kill another Brahman. That also Dronacharya, such a high class Brahman. So he could not find anyone. He searched all over the earth planet. He could not find one Brahman who was willing to perform a yajna which will be the cause of Brahmahatya. But then he found one Brahman who said, my younger brother will perform the yajna. You go to my younger brother, he will perform. So then this Drupad Maharaj asks the Brahman, how do you know that this particular Brahman will perform the yajna? How are you so confident that your younger brother will perform? The Brahman says, because one day we were in the forest and an apple fell down from a tree. And I noticed my younger brother immediately picked up the apple and ate it without offering it to Krishna, without offering it to Vishnu. So he has this habit of sometimes eating without offering. So from this, I can conclude, I can infer that his consciousness will be so polluted that he will agree to perform this yajna where another Brahman is going to be killed. Drupad Maharaj, he went to this younger brother, and sure enough, he agreed. I will perform the yajna. And he performed the yajna, and from that yajna, Drishtadumna was born, and Draupadi also was born. So this story from Mahabharata teaches us that if we eat food that has not been offered to Krishna, our consciousness will be polluted. So we can go to relatives' house if they are well-wishers and they are favorable to Krishna consciousness, and we can offer. If somebody is absolutely not favorable, then we should try our best to avoid and instead invite them to our house and feed them Krishna Prasad. If they want to socialize with us, invite them to our house, talk about Krishna and give them Krishna Prasad. They will come once. If they are favorable, they will come second time. Otherwise, they will never come again. But if the relatives are favorable, they are willing to cooperate, then tell them to cook, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra while cooking, not tasting it, cooking it in a pure way, and you go and you offer. That way they get the benefit of cooking for Krishna and all of you get Krishna Prasad. Because Krishna Prasad is of different levels, different varieties. The top class Krishna Prasad is when a pure Brahmically initiated devotee cooks in the kitchen of a temple and offers it to the deities who have had Prana Pratisthapana in the temple. That Prasad is the highest quality. Second variety is our home, where an initiated devotee or a sincere devotee like yourself, you cook at home and you offer it to Krishna at home. Our home deities don't have Prana Pratisthapana. This is also Prasad, but it is not of the same potency as the Mahaprasad of the deities in the temple. Therefore, Sunday feast we must go and eat the temple Prasad. Prasadam of our worshipable deities, Radha Madhava. And another level is what we are talking. That someone who is not really a devotee is cooking, but cooking for Krishna in a favorable attitude, and you are offering it. Not to the deities, but to pictures. It is also Prasad. But again, it is of a lower potency. There are prasadams of different potencies also. Like different avatars of Krishna have different potency. Krishna is Purna, Purushottam Bhagavan, with all the Aishwaryas, all the 64 qualities. Other incarnations like Lord Parshuram, they are Shakti-Avesh avatars. And also, they are also Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are not the original Supreme Personality. They don't all the potencies. Therefore, when Lord Ramchandra met Lord Parshuram, he defeated Parshuram. Because Lord Ram is Purna Purushottam. Whereas Parshuram is Shakti Avesh avatar. He is a Jiva who has Shakti Avesh of Vishnu. So similarly, Prasadam also has different levels.
Mm-hmm.
At least you should have this level of prasadam where it is offered to a picture of Krishna. Is that
Okay.
clear, Prabhu?
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhu,
Yes.
I have the similar one. Can you hear me?
Vatsala Mataji, 1 second, Vatsala Mataji. Because we are running out
Prabhu?
of time. Vatsala Mataji, just hold on. Let me, we will continue your this next time because see, 9 o'clock, I have another counseling meeting.
I cannot hear you now.
You cannot hear me?
No, I cannot hear you.
Okay.
How did he hear this?
Hare Krishna. Vatsala Mataji, just wait because
I can hear you now. Okay.
yeah, so we'll ask Devavati Mataji to ask a question and then Divyangi Lalita Mataji because I have to go in few minutes because I have
Sure.
another meeting on the same Zoom ID. So I
Okay.
have to go. But next time we'll continue. Devavati
Sure.
Mataji, you can go ahead.
Prabhu, I can ask the question next time, Prabhu. Don't.
You can ask next
please.
time?
Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So Divyangi Lalita Mataji, you can ask.
Thank you so much, Devati Mataji. And thank you so much for the wonderful pastime, Prabhu. My question is more about, like you said about dosha drishti regarding prasadam. So I feel that is because of the enjoying mentality towards prasadam rather than honoring prasadam. I mean, though we though we accept prasadam, say the prasadam prayers, I mean, for so many years, I still feel that quality has not come. Feel then the tendency to enjoy that is there, and we also, like, I also find myself making things that I like for the deity. So how to
Making what?
the items that I like for the deities, Prabhu. So what I like, I offer like that. How to come to that platform, Prabhu? So, I mean, like so many years, still the same tendency is there.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, you are very honest because you are openly saying like this. But actually, we are all like that. At least I am like that. So we may say that my Nitai Sachinandan love pizza. Why? Because I want to eat pizza. Like that. So that tendency is there in all of us in the sadhak stage. But by hearing Hari Katha, we at least come to know what the standard is. The standard is to offer Krishna what Krishna likes. And what Krishna likes is mentioned by our acharyas and it is mentioned in the scriptures. What ingredients Krishna likes, what items Krishna likes. And it is a journey, Mataji. Spiritual development, coming to that consciousness which you're talking about, is a journey. And we should make conscious effort to reach that platform. And initially, we may not experience that platform, but we should still aspire for that platform. And slowly, when we make conscious efforts and we genuinely pray to reach and attain that state, then Krishna will give that state to us. It is a sthiti. That consciousness that you're talking about is a sthiti. It is a state of existence of a devotee. And reaching that stage is an evolution, is a journey. And we should sincerely pray. The first step is to identify, like you said, that you openly said what we all are doing. So that is the first step, to identify, to understand. And then slowly we should make conscious efforts to make for Krishna what Krishna likes. And to honor prasadam. We should try to overcome our tendency to enjoy prasadam. We can enjoy it in a way that when prasadam is served, okay, this is Krishna's mercy that has come before me. And I'm so grateful that Krishna Prasad has come to save me. Tara madhye jivhati, this tongue is crazy. It wants to eat this and that. Tara madhye jivhati, lobho maya sudurmati, ताके जता कठिन samsare, but Krishna bada dayamay. Tori bare jivha jay, so prasadana dilo bhai. He has come as his own prasad to satisfy this crazy tongue, to control this crazy tongue. So in this way, we can make a conscious effort of having the mentality of serving prasad. That is why it is called prasad seva. It is called prasad seva in our Sanskrit and Bengali literatures. अभी क्या करने जा रहे हो? प्रसाद सेवा करने जा रहे हैं. Where are you going? I'm going to serve prasadam, to honor prasadam. We never say prasad खाने जा रहे हैं. नहीं, प्रसाद सेवा करने जा रहे हैं. So we have to develop that consciousness. And by hearing Hari Katha, by associating with devotees who have that consciousness, we also get that consciousness. Once Mukunda Prabhu was telling me that he went to meet Tamal Krishna Maharaj when he was 16 years old. He wanted to ask Tamal Krishna Maharaj if he could join the temple, even though he was minor. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was just about to honor Krishna Prasad. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj told him, wait, you come at this particular time tomorrow to discuss. Right now, I am honoring Krishna Prasad. So he wanted to just focus on Krishna. He wanted to hear Hari Katha as he's honoring Krishna Prasad. And just expressing his gratitude with each morsel, gratitude that Krishna, you have come in the form of a prasad. I don't deserve you. I don't deserve you, but still you have come to me in the form of prasad. And we eat. Say Anna Amrita Pao. It's not Anna. It is Anna Amrita. Why? Because it is Adhara Amrita. It is the nectar from the lips of Krishna. Therefore, prasadam is called Adhara Amrit. It is the nectar from Krishna's lips, from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lips. It is Adhara Amrit. Say Annamrita Pao, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gunagao. Gunagao means what? I don't deserve this prasad. But Krishna, you have come in the form of prasad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Prasad Seva. I am serving you by honoring you. Like that. So slowly, slowly that attitude comes with Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kore, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi. Ultimately, by hearing Hari Katha, by associating with sadhus, our consciousness will be elevated and we will come to that state. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So now last question, Vatsala Mataji. Mukunda beta will next time we'll do, okay? Actually, it's 8:51. Vatsala Mataji, can you hear?
But Prabhu, I can talk to you
Next time? Okay.
No problem.
Okay, let me jump on the counseling meeting then. It's about to start in 9 minutes. Okay? Thank you.
I will talk to you next time, Prabhu. I cannot hear you now. I don't know why.
Oh, you cannot hear? Everybody else can hear me? Mukta Sangha Prabhu, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I unmuted, but I cannot hear you now.
Oh, okay. Maybe next time.
Yeah, because it's the same question along the line. If I have an American friend, neighbor, it's the same thing. She wants me to come and take something, but she also cooks meat and other things. Mukta Sangha Prabhu knows her. I have invited her for bhajan in my house. She's my close friend of me for 18 years. But she always, she loves me. And she's 80 years old.
You can tell her that I will come to your house for eating prasad, provided Mukta Sangha Prabhu cooks it.
She likes Mukta Sangha and another wife.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
We'll
Thank you so much.
meet next Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I appreciate.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Bhagwat ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Thakur ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhu.
so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.